Hi everyone, I'm Richard Kirtland, one of the regional maths leads for the Centres for Excellence in Maths. I'm here to introduce you to the responsive intervention. When CfEM first started, consultation with the sector led to the development of the 5 key principles of mastery teaching you can see here. Key principles 2 and 4 have helped to steer research among centres to develop a responsive approach to student learning in FE Maths. This intervention focuses on valuing and building on students' prior learning and developing both fluency and understanding of key ideas. Action research findings over the term of the project so far has led to the emergence of 3 big questions, and it's the question in the blue circle that is key to this intervention. How can we develop a maths curriculum that is responsive to the gaps in learners' skills and understanding? This intervention is being led by Shabana Rahman of East Kent College, on work developed cooperatively by the 3 colleges you can see here, based on action research by Jane Barnett and Lorna McMahon. I'm going to pass over now to Shabana to give an overview of the intervention.
Hello, my name is Shabana Rahman and I am the Centre Lead for the EKC group in East Kent. I will also be your lead person for this intervention on responsive teaching. Over the next 4 weeks, we will aim to address key misconceptions through diagnostic questions and deconstructed questions. Maths learners in FE come with prior knowledge and entrenched misconceptions, having studied the subject for nearly 11 years. A responsive approach to teaching takes this fact into account and prompts us as teachers to diagnose, assess and address those persistent misconceptions. We will be focusing on 3 core topics: ratio, fractions and proportion. We've chosen these because we believe that they are connected to most topics and also because they are taught earlier on in the year, whether it is functional skills or GCSE maths. We hope that by the end of this intervention, your students will end up with fewer misconceptions in those core topics, but also be able to reason and problem solve much easily. The retrieval process of learned concepts must be embedded in every good maths lesson. This intervention has been designed around the work done by Jane Barnett from Leighton College and Lorna McMahon at Thameside College. This is the proposed structure for the next 4 weeks. You will be teaching your lessons normally as per your scheme of work, but will be embedding diagnostic questions and deconstructed questions as starters and exit tickets. Starters and exit tickets are ideal to assess learning and identify misconceptions. There will be a pre-test to assess your students' starting points so that we can measure progress at the end of this intervention. We propose a ratio quiz at the end of the first lesson to diagnose the first set of misconceptions. In the next lesson, we advise a structured paired discussion around those as a starter to help with the retrieval process. The process is then repeated over the next 4 weeks. We hope by the end of this intervention that your learners will be able to reason and problem solve without teachers' prompts.
You're going to give your students a short 5-question quiz using these questions from Diagnostic Questions website. The point of these is that each of the wrong answers identifies a specific misconception, so you can quickly and easily identify what misconceptions are remaining for your students. Once you've marked the tests, you're going to analyse them in 2 ways. First, you're going to sort your class into 2 equally sized groups, people who did better on the test and people who did less well on the test. That's going to help you set up the discussion pairs. Second, if you click into the notes page for each question, you've got some guidance on what misconceptions are represented by each of the wrong answers. Choose 2 questions that you want to go over and identify what was the most common misconception on each one. Then you're going to create some anonymous work which shows how someone could have got that wrong answer for that misconception. At Leighton, we researched several different ways of running these discussion activities. And one of the things that we found out is that students don't automatically know how to give good feedback. So as part of this intervention, you're going to explicitly teach them how to give good feedback, and that's a career relevant skill for most careers. You're going to have this on the board and you're going to remind them about it every week, that good feedback is kind, so it recognises what went well and that helps people to engage. It's specific, it connects to a specific problem, and it's helpful, so it shows them how to solve that problem and how to solve similar problems in the future. If you click into the notes page of that slide, you'll see there's a very detailed description of how to run the discussion activity. I'm just going to pick out a couple of key points for you. Firstly, you seat them in discussion pairs. That's why you have your two groups who did better and worse on the tests. So you want them to be mixed, so there's one person from each group in each pair. They're much more likely to speak and listen if they're in a pair than if they're in a small group. Secondly, they're discussing anonymous work. You don't give them their marked test backs until after the discussion activity. That means nobody's embarrassed about directly addressing a mistake. Thirdly, this think, pair, share structure, because it's got 2 minutes of silence at the start, that means by the time they're allowed to talk, they're really ready to talk. In week 2, you're going to repeat this process twice so that you can look at their feedback and help them to improve it for the second round. In week 3 and 4, you're just going to do this for one focus question, and then you're going to go on to a deconstructed exam question.
Hello, my name is Lorna McMahon, and I was one of the action research leads for Tameside College. As part of our action research, we looked at how we could utilise a deconstructed question to help students apply their mathematical knowledge to an exam-style question. We had found that although many students could tackle straightforward sums, they were more reticent and lacked confidence when faced with a multifaceted exam question. By carefully showing them scaffolding around the question, we found that the majority of students could tackle at least a part of the question. Thus, they could see what they did know and build their confidence from there. For these questions, we would suggest that students continue to work in pairs and that the question itself is on A3 paper, either blown up or stuck on, so that each pair can discuss, write, and check their understanding with each other clearly. The first step in this question is to simplify the ratio 36 to 48, which may be done by using the highest common factor or in incremental steps. If your students are not familiar with a bar model, you may wish to demonstrate this part yourself. As the ratio was simplified to 3 to 4, we have a bar model split into 7 parts, with the 3 parts and the 4 parts clearly differentiated. This should then help the students to picture the links between the ratio 3 to 4 and how this could be shown in fraction form. Here, you may wish to take off the scaffolded questions so that students can have a go themselves. We would recommend that students still work in pairs and that the question itself is on A3 or flip chart paper so that each pair has plenty of space to jot down what maths they think they would need in order to answer the question. By doing this, students can explore the mathematical threads and links that run through these exam questions, thus consolidating what they know and exploring what they don't know yet. For students who still require more practice, pre-scaffolded questions are still available.
We hope that this overview gives you a clearer picture of what to expect in this 4-week intervention on responsive teaching. If you have any further questions or queries, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me via email. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.